I'm Gary Mavers, and I've had a lifelong obsession with classic cars. I caught the bug when I was just a small child, but since then I've been lucky enough to own and restore many of these rare beauties. Over the years I've learned how to tackle the complex mechanics of these cars, but still managed to indulge my passion along the way. But now I want to share my experiences with you, revealing the joys, the trials, and the tribulations of classic car restoration. Each episode I'll meet fellow classic car enthusiasts to hear their stories, look at their cars, and share their personal experiences. So come with me on my journey as I search from here to Europe and as far as the USA for the cars of my dreams, discover their unique histories whilst working on them, and bring them back to life. So join me, Gary Mavers, for Classic Obsession. So in the last episode I managed to build a rear seat and complete the renovation of the car's interior. This time you'll see me tackle the braking system, the car's bodywork, and hopefully break the back of this restoration. First to the braking system, and I'll start with the reservoir. Rolls Royce recommend a system rebuild every 8 to 10 years. The rubber breaks down over time and gradually manages to pollute all the complicated components with a build-up of sludge, eventually compromising the braking operation and ultimately the car's overall safety. See what I mean? I'm using simple electrical connectors to plug up the holes before scraping out the debris. Then I'll blow compressed air through the pipes to get as much of the sludge out as possible. Then to the calipers. And with the shell then opened, I set about removing the rusty old pistons with the aid of the hubcap removal bar from the car's toolkit. After a thorough clean-up, I fit new seals, and apply red rubber grease for protection and lubrication. I then move on to the rear calipers and fit new pistons. If you don't have any red rubber grease, simple brake fluid can be used. After new dust covers and clips, don't forget the journal seals. These are quite often overlooked, and a couple of weeks down the line, it's simple. The caliper will leak. Then I put the caliper back together. I then make a new steel brake pipe with new ends. And ready for paint. Reassembly Then finally, with the refitment of the new handbrake pads, job done. Okay, so here, as you can see, are our freshly rebuilt brake calipers, all fitted with new pistons, new seals, new clips, all painted up nice and ready to go. I've fitted 13 brand new flexi hoses. I always think of the flexi hoses like sort of like the artery of the braking system, really. And if you think of the brake fluid as the blood of the system, if the artery is blocked, you depress your pedal, nothing happens, no brakes, all your wheels lock up. And that's basically what happened to this. This is some of the old debris. As you can see, an old flexi hose, completely blocked, useless. This is one of the old pistons I actually broke getting out. On the rear calipers, I think I broke 3 or 4 of them actually. They were just impossible to get out, all rusted in. So I cleaned all them up, fitted brand new pistons, new seals, good to go. This is one of the old brake pads. As you can see, completely breaking up, scrap. Got a nice brand new set of pads to finish the job. So all we've got left to do really is fit these little beauties, fresh fluid in, bleed the whole system, and it should give us a nice dependable braking system, which I'm sure you'll all agree is one of the most important things in any car really. Right, let's get stuck in. Next to the brake pumps, which is situated on top of the engine front and rear and run off the camshaft. Tricky to get out as everything has to be removed up top to gain access. Once out, I removed the brake rods themselves, and on inspection I see that one of them is broken off. As a safety measure, these were designed this way in case pressure was to build up too high in the system. With new brake pumps and rods fitted, everything goes back together again, and I move on to the accumulators and the brake valves underneath. Now, a common mistake is just to replace the accumulators, but these must be replaced as a set. A faulty brake valve or pressure switch can result in the pressure building indefinitely, resulting in not just a broken rod, but blowing your entire height control valves into the bargain. Next, I remove the ugly side markers. These were probably an added extra by the previous owner. But for me, these just kill the clean lines in the car. So it's back to factory spec. The only rot I could find was in the front section of both sills, a common place on these cars, where water ingresses behind the splash panel of the front wheel well. But luckily there's a gable wall of steel about 12 inches back which prevents the rust penetrating back and causing further damage to the sill. So clean it out, make a new panel, and it's welded in. Getting the car out into daylight allows me to get a good look at my repairs. And do some last minute preparations before finally putting the car into paint. So happy with the prep, I decide to work on through the night. I first apply 3 coats of black base coat, followed by 4 coats of clear coat lacquer. For the best results, it's a no-brainer, just use the best quality paint available. For the base coat I use DuPont, followed by the Sikkens lacquer. When I'm happy the paint's dry, I start the blocking process. I first use a 1200 grade 3Ms paper, followed by 2000, and then I finish off with a 3000 grade. When I'm happy, I start the cutting and polishing process. I first use a G3 cutting polish, then move on to a Meguiar's 83 cleaning polish, and finally finish off with the 3Ms finessing. Call me old fashioned, but I'm old school, and this method's tried and tested. And it's time to reassemble. One of my favourite moments of any car restoration is when the parts start to go back on again. When all the hard graft is done, seeing the chrome against that new paint is just pure magic. And suddenly the car starts to look like a car again. And now with the wheels refurbed, I treat them to a new set of Avon Turbo Steel tyres, originally specified by Rolls Royce back in the day. Try not to over tighten the wheel nuts. These are brass tipped, so they must be tightened to the specified torque. With the spare wheel carrier repainted and the wheel refitted, The set is complete. The boot area is a real mess, but I promise it looks worse than it is. It's merely superficial and nothing that can't be sorted. Although they look unsavable, the original carpets are clean within an inch of their life. And on any discoloured edges I find, I improvise and replace them with some quality Italian leather I have over from a previous restoration. The colour match is uncanny. I replace all the trim. Who'd have thought this old wrecked interior would scrub up as well as this? There. Good as new. But now, having finally broken the back of this arduous restoration, I now have to turn my attentions towards the convertible hood. So I'm off to see a guy called Alex Entwistle. Alex formed his business Mullen 30 years ago, and in that time he sold over 3,000 cars, mainly Rolls Royces, Bentleys and Ferraris and other high-end cars worldwide, supplying to prime ministers, princes and royalty alike. Today he's kindly allowed me to measure up a Corniche he has in stock to get an idea of the task ahead. This example allows me to work out where the staples go, the seals fit, and more importantly where the wood goes. Made from quality West of England cloth,
These headliners were a work of art, giving the customer a feel unlike any convertible ever made, but one of an airtight, watertight coupe or hardtop. I then move inside the car to see how the headlining is made, leaving a precision gap designed to miss the hinges and steel bows of the frame when opening and closing the hood. So after a quick study and a few rough measurements taken, my work is done, and I pop inside to speak to Alex. All done?
Is that what you needed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a seat.
Cheers.
You've got the frame.
Yeah, I've got the frame and it all looks complete. But it's just a case of putting it together, putting the jigsaw back together, and then I'm going to try and do the hood myself.
So, is there any of the wood there as a template?
No, the hood's rotted away, the main bow at the back's gone. The wood on the inside of the parcel shelf at the back, where the hood goes back into, there's bits and pieces of it. I'm piecing it together, so I'm going to have to make something up for that. I've just ordered a bow from Hungary, the top bow at the back.
The front bow?
Yeah, that's made out of hickory or something.
Problem is, most people who are doing a job like that would actually go and get a specialist to do it.
Yeah, but have you seen how much the specialist charges? 14 grand. Alex, right, I know you think I'm crazy, but you're a member of the Bentley Club, you've been a member of the Rolls Royce Club, and you've been chairman and all the rest of it. In all the years, have you ever seen a nice job done on them hoods?
Yes, I've seen some nice jobs,
but how many nightmares?
People have paid for them.
Yeah, and how many nightmares have you seen where they paid good money? A lot of stuff, as you know, Alex, and you'll put your hand to anything as well. It's common sense. I'm going to have a go anyway, and let's see what happens.
Oh, credit to you, yeah.
I love your office, by the way. I bet you've had some interesting people in this office. I bet you've sold some interesting cars.
There's always celebrity cars around.
Did you sell a Rat Pack one or something?
So, Sammy Davis Jr. buys Frank Sinatra a Rolls Royce. Frank Sinatra gets wind that Sammy Davis is doing this, so he buys one back. So when the two cars arrived, he does the big unveiling. Frank, I bought your car. He went, Sammy, so have I. Same model, identical cars.
Wow.
These were Camargues. Now the Camargue was 3 times more expensive than the standard Rolls Royce when it was new.
Yeah.
So when the standard Rolls Royce was £25,000.
See, I never quite understood that. I mean, I know it's got a bit more kudos, they reckon, than a Bentley, a Rolls Royce. But, you know, when they brought the Bentley out, the Bentley Corniche with the Rolls Royce Corniche, there's a big price difference, wasn't there? And really, there wasn't that much difference in quality or looks. They look like the same car, really. Without the spirit of ecstasy. And
they were the same car. The big difference
grill. So most interesting people you've met?
Probably the most interesting guy, or one of there's 5 people who will always stick in my mind, and 2 of them came on the same day, and they came to buy a particular car, and this is going back a few years ago, and we're having a coffee, and so I said to these 2, they were older American guys, and I said, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? Or what did you do? And one of them said, oh, I used to be a test pilot. And he told the story as to how he woke up falling from 78,000 feet. Now, you think most commercial airliners are 35,000 feet at the most. This is 78,000 feet.
That's like a proper nightmare when you think you've fallen and you wake up, isn't it? But it's for real.
For real. And he was unconscious at first, and he told the story, and he's falling through the sky. And eventually he manages to clear the ice off his visor, realises his parachute is deployed, and he looks across and he can see the other chap who was in the plane with him falling. He lands, and the wreckage obviously of the plane is falling as well. He lands in the desert. Within a few seconds, a guy wearing a cowboy hat appears and says,
there's always one of them, isn't
there's always a guy in this
like
cowboy
Mr.
hat.
Ben.
Yeah. Excuse me, can I help you? You know, you look like you might need a bit of a hand. And he thought, well, I'm not dead. And this guy was a local rancher and had a helicopter to go around the ranch. And he said, yeah, he said, the scariest bit was I was in the helicopter going to the hospital, and because I was a test pilot and he was rushing, every needle was on red. I thought he was going to kill me.
Hang on, so you said 2 guys. What did the other guy do?
Here's the other bit of the story. So I turned to his friend and we were having a coffee. I said to his friend, I said, well, you're probably not going to beat that, are you? I said, if you don't mind me asking, what did you do? He said, oh, I was an astronaut.
Oh, get out of it. What a chat up, right? All right, Alex, I'm going to let you go because I know you're a very busy man. I really appreciate you showing me the car and all that.
I want to see it when it's done.
You think I'm crazy, don't you?
I think you're completely
I'm going to have a go. Let's see what happens.
So you know that story about Sammy Davis Jr.? That's not the Camargue we're talking about.
Yeah, let me show you something. So when you order a Rolls Royce as a gift for your friend and know he wears a toupee, you make sure that Rolls Royce put a mirror in, with a hairbrush, and a comb for the man who wore a toupee.
Old blue eyes.
There you go.
Thank you for watching this episode of Gary Mavers Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and join me next time as I embark on the unthinkable. To make and fit the Corniche Convertible hood.